Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for the introduction. And thank you for the time today. Thanks to the 09 AIM-10X team for hosting this event here. Really excited to be here and talk about our journey here for Toyota North America and who we are. Within Toyota, of course, we have 5 regional headquarters across the globe, North America being one of those. So I represent our TMNA headquarters office up in Plano, Texas, just north of here. We have a responsibility for, of course, sales and manufacturing operations within TMNA for USA, Canada, and Mexico. We've been producing vehicles in North America, in the U.S., for over 36 years. Our first manufacturing plant was built in Georgetown, Kentucky, and of course is still operational. And we also have 14 other manufacturing facilities across the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Of course, building vehicle production for Toyota and Lexus models, but also powertrain production for those vehicles as well. You can see almost 1,900 Toyota and Lexus dealers here in the U.S. that we have responsibility for coordination of sales plans, sales operations for those dealers, as well as our sales operations up in Canada and Mexico as well. And then from a supply chain perspective, we have the great honor of coordination of parts and components. We have production control, parts ordering, logistics folks, as well as a purchasing organization that coordinate component flow for over 400 supplier companies, which is, as you can see, almost 900 shipping locations across the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. And really, our story is kind of historically, we were 2 separate sales and manufacturing organizations in North America. Many may know our sales organization, our headquarters was originally in Torrance, California, in the LA area. And then separately, we had our manufacturing headquarters in Erlanger, Kentucky, just across the bridge from Cincinnati, Ohio. And practically speaking, we each communicated back to our global headquarters in Japan in terms of our production operation plans, as well as our sales targets, sales plans, and production requests. Of course, we tried to communicate well between the 2 divisions here in North America, in the U.S., but practically speaking, all of our formal communication went back through Japan. And we were, in a lot of ways, disconnected and inefficient in our exchange of information, and that really became really evident about 10 to 12 years ago with our accelerator pedal recall and crisis. And we recognized at that time really a need to be more connected and to come together. And then that's really what's kind of driven us here to North Texas, and about 6 or 7 years ago came together as one Toyota here in Plano and brought together operations from both the sales and the manufacturing sides of the organization. And at that time, we established a demand and supply management group that, as you can see, our aim was to not just create the best sales plan or the best manufacturing plan, but create the best demand and supply plan. And we had a lot of benefits with that group coming together. Of course, we were much better connected with each side of the organization, which allowed faster, better communication and scenario planning in order to come up with what we felt like was the best decision. So a lot of benefits that came with coming together. But the remaining challenge at that time, we brought all of our antiquated and analog tools and processes. We brought our Excel workbooks together whenever we came together 6 or 7 years ago. And we knew at that time that a digital transformation was in order to really, optimize not just the feasible plan, but the optimal plan in our demand and supply planning solutions. The problem was at that time, the platform wasn't burning, so to speak. We didn't have a real pressing need to change, but as I think many in the room are aware, the supply chain condition has dramatically changed really since 2020 with the COVID downturn, especially in Southeast Asia with semiconductors. The new supply chain environment really challenged our kind of utility foundational supply chain functions and limited us from being as flexible as we needed to be to navigate around issues, and that impacted our customers. At the same time, we have, I think, all seen the growing desire for that Amazon-like shopping experience. No doubt that's in the automotive industry as well. So while that was maybe before even 2020, we see that as really just continued to accelerate, and the desire of the customer to do more and more of that kind of online shopping experience and the need to accommodate that. Both of those factors really have driven us to recognize a need for new capabilities within our supply chain management, layered on top of these kind of utility foundational things like resiliency, agility, sustainability, in order to accommodate this new environment. So really that's what's driven our transformation change, and as we've kind of ideated around that, of course, our focus is creating a better customer experience, a better guest experience. But we recognize, we believe that's not just one segment within our industry. We see a continued need to accommodate a dealer stock, kind of a dealer stock model, which has been historically the traditional U.S. Method for vehicle sales. We think customers will continue to want that type of environment. On the other hand, we see a growing number of interest for that online shopping experience, for really completing the full end-to-end buying experience, more online and accommodating that. And then some things in between. We recognize a need for like late-stage accessorization and our ability to get a product to a customer quicker through pooling, virtual and physical pooling. So really, as we're outlining here, kind of 4 different segments that we think we need to accommodate within our industry. And really, to execute on that kind of best-in-class guest experience, we think that comes down to 2 basic strategies. The first is that make-to-stock strategy. We need to have the right product in the right place at the right time, really before the customer asks for it. And then also, we want to accommodate that configure-to-order experience for the customer, so a guest can shop for a vehicle and walk as far through that buying experience as they'd like, with confidence in the data that's given to them. Those 2 basic strategies have kind of formed our approach in what we call supply chain and fulfillment transformation. And the way we kick this off is really thinking about it in 3 basic domains. Of course, we have a sales-facing domain where we need to do very good sales planning, forecasting, configuration management. And then on the other side of the house, we need to think through our supply and how we can have optimal supply across our supply chain, of course, including manufacturing and our supplier component parts. And then the third domain is really the distribution model. How can we effectively get these vehicles out to our customer, again, at the right place at the right time? So that was our approach, and then from that, we were fortunate to pull some of our experts in each of these 3 basic domains out of their kind of normal operations and think through what are the top priorities, thinking about that best-in-class guest experience. What are the top priorities to generate value now, immediately, and show that success? And a lot of words here on the screen, but you can see basically 3 lanes for that demand, supply, and then distribution, and kind of what we felt like were the top priorities. Just developing a product and a process that can create value now was the focus. And then we have a separate team that's thinking about, while we're developing these products, how do we stitch these together to really realize that kind of end-to-end digital connection that will enable the value that we're trying to create within the supply chain. So first, we took those 9 or 10 products and said, first strategy, make to stock. How can we improve that make-to-stock strategy? We've talked about all morning AI. We certainly see make-to-stock strategy leaning heavily on data and analytics, our ability to predict at a very granular level, down to the vehicle configuration level, where a vehicle should be, down to the district or dealership level. And with good planning and forecasting through this data and analytics capabilities, we think we can really dramatically improve our ability to put those vehicles in the right place at the right time. From a configure to order perspective, it's all about allowing our guests to look deeper into the pipeline. And I think, as we could all imagine, that really weighs heavily on our ability to express the plan out further into the pipeline, not just physical vehicles, but as we get into virtual vehicles in our virtual pipeline, when is the build date? And we think that, of course, is going to rely heavily or be an important factor in a guest when they're doing a purchase and going through the buying process. So how can we connect digitally from our sales planning all the way back through our manufacturing and supplier components, tier 1 plus lower tier, so that we have confidence. So we have confidence in the demand plan and then our supply capability to meet that, and of course then generate that estimated production date, which translates to when a guest could expect to get that vehicle if they move forward with the purchase process. We think this is a really critical factor in our ability to show our customers deeper into the pipeline, and then of course, enable this kind of configure to order experience that would provide value. Within North America, we are very focused on improving the guest experience. First and foremost, it's about the customer experience, but we know that with the very antiquated and analog processes that we have a great opportunity to improve the experience for our own team members as well as we work through this, really make them better connected, enable them to do better analytics, enable them to have confidence in the decisions they're making, and really from each end of the organization connect and educate and have good awareness for the plan. When we started, we ideated around 85 different use cases. That's maybe even grown a bit since we first started. You can see we're about a year and a half in to those first prioritized use cases, and again, developing products around those use cases and then stitching those together to create that digital connection. We have gotten a lot of good progress within North America, but we recognize also we're a global company, and a lot of these solutions really expand beyond just North America, especially as we think about our suppliers and our lower tier suppliers and the connectedness across the globe. What we've been spending a lot of time recently on is connections with our other regional headquarters, of course, but then also our global headquarters in Japan, and being smart about where do these capabilities make the most sense to be regional in nature versus global in nature, and it's kind of forced us to think global first, and then based on each capability, is it unique to our environment, or is it make more sense to collaborate with those other regions and make these global standards. We're excited about the possibility of expanding several of these capabilities more broadly beyond North America and really truly connecting across the supply chain. Of course, those who lived through the semiconductor chaos recognize that we had a lot of blind spots and gaps in what we understood was capable, and we think this is a great area to better connect, have better awareness, and make better decisions. So learnings and advice from our journey. The first, we had a lot of success with creating space for our experts to really free them up from their daily operational roles and think about what are the priorities, where should we be focused, and give them the time and the space to do that. Also, being smart about, like I mentioned, where should we be global versus regional. There are some things that maybe are going to be unique to our sales environment here in North America versus global in nature when we think about supplier connectivity, but really thinking through what are the right decisions between global, regional for our organization. We've gotten a lot of success with moving with speed. Of course, We are laser focused on building a good quality product or products and stitching those together, but certainly have gotten a lot of momentum with thinking through, and really to that fourth point, kind of carving out digestible problems that we think we can represent value for quickly. And then with that momentum, we've gotten a lot of support to kind of proceed and really even expand on this transformation journey. So that's my spiel. Our tagline is "Together as One." That means a lot to us here in North America. We see this initiative as really horizontal across our organization. It's not just our demand and supply planning department. It's not just sales or manufacturing. We have representatives from across our entire organization involved and represented in this transformation program, and that together as one mindset means a lot. From that perspective, I talked about our engagement with other regional headquarters as well, and especially with Japan and our global headquarters. This together as one mindset really helps us kind of come together and think through what is the best solution for Toyota as a company. And I love the conversation in that last session around strategic partners. No doubt about it, we have benefited from really strong strategic partners through this journey, like 09 and others, to help us think through what's the best solution for us and how we can kind of realize this best-in-class guest experience. So thank you for the time today. That's all I have. I really look forward to catching up with more of you throughout the day and hearing more from the next few presenters. So thank you.